Japan is the world's leading manufacturer and consumer of robots. About half of the world's robots are made and used in Japan. About half of the world's 4,500 robot engineers are in Japan too. We see new and newer robots hailing from the region time after time, sometimes creepy, yet at other times completely heartwarming. Let's take a look at 5 terrific robots from Japan. Rosemary's Robot Baby, CB2. Recently, the Japan Science and Technology Agency introduced CB2, child robot with biomimetic body. It is a kind of humanoid measuring 1.3 meters and 33 kilos in weight. Although it reminds us of the cuddly Haley Joel Osment in Artificial Intelligence, CB2 gives us a tenacious fear. It must be the typical robot that goes unhinged, makes a bad face, and begins to distribute tow. You just give him time to stand up unaided. For now, the robot emulates the behavior of a 1 to 2-year-old child. Our fear seems to be fully justified by the uncanny valley theory. It is not really a problem of the technique that fails to make systems more realistic or human, but of human psychology, that when we perceive or meet the somewhat phony, our emotional alarms begin to sound. Anyway, the creators of the child robot say it's slowly developing social skills by interacting with humans and watching their facial expressions, mimicking a mother-baby relationship. A bald, childlike creature dangles its legs from a chair as its shoulders rise and fall with rhythmic breathing, and its black eyes follow movements across the room. It's not human, but it is paying attention. Below the soft silicon skin of one of Japan's most sophisticated robots, processors record and evaluate information. The 130cm, or 4 foot 4 inch humanoid is designed to learn just like a human infant. Babies and infants have very, very limited programs, but they have room to learn more, says Osaka University professor Minoru Asada, as his team's 33-kilogram invention kept its eyes glued to him. The team is trying to teach the pint-sized android to think like a baby who evaluates its mother's countless facial expressions and clusters them into basic categories, such as happiness and sadness. Asada's project brings together robotics engineers, brain specialists, psychologists, and other experts, and is supported by the state-funded Japan Science and Technology Agency. With 197 film-like pressure sensors under its light gray rubbery skin, CB2 can also recognize human touch, such as stroking of its head. The robot can record emotional expressions using eye cameras, then memorize and match them with physical sensations, and cluster them on its circuit boards, said Asada. The professor, also a member of the Japanese Society of Baby Science, said his team has made progress on other fronts since first presenting CB2 to the world in 2007. In the many years since then, he said, CB2 has taught itself how to walk with the aid of a human and can now move its body through a room quite smoothly, using 51 muscles driven by air pressure. In coming decades, Asada expects science will come up with a robo-species that has learning abilities somewhere between those of a human and other primate species, such as the chimpanzee. Pero, the therapy robot. Pero is an adorable robotic baby harp seal that weighs about 6 pounds. Pero was developed in Japan by Takanori Shibata and is equipped with 32-bit processors, microphones, and several tactile sensors. To boot, Pero's fur is fluffy and antibacterial. Pero is a remarkable little gadget and able to recognize voices, track motions, and utter endearing little squeaks and whistles. It also remembers behaviors, has touch-sensitive whiskers, which help it interact with humans, and has a bunch of little motors that enable it to wiggle. In total, Pero has 5 types of sensors: light, tactile, auditory, temperature, and posture that help it come to life. Pero was built as a pet alternative and mainly intended for older people who desire company. A real pet can scratch or bite, whereas all Pero places in its mouth is a pacifier it uses to recharge. If interested in seeing Pero in action, here's a YouTube video of the little guy. Although Pero has been sold in its native Japan and countries like Denmark for years, it really started to make headlines after it was introduced stateside. In fact, Pero was featured on Aziz Ansari's new Netflix series, Master of None. Currently, a number of American nursing homes have purchased Pero for use with their residents. However, in order to be worth its $5,000 price tag, many believe that Pero must do more than act cute. It must also help people, particularly the elderly, feel better. Motoman SDA 10. Teach a robot to fish and it will fish forever.
Give a robot humanoid arms and it will build the fishing pole, catch the fish, gut it, pack it in ice, cook it, and then perform a little dance. The Motoman SDA-10 can do all that and play the drums, thanks to its amazing arms. If you want to be convinced of the Motoman's versatility and human-like capability, just check out the multitude of videos of him online. Building chairs, cameras, cooking, serving beer, the SDA-10 does it all. How can the SDA-10 accomplish so much? Well, it helps that its arms have more joints than a Bob Marley concert. 7 dual-action axes, 15 degrees of freedom, and a diverse set of hand attachments give this Motoman bot the range of motion needed to emulate a human performing a task. That's a smart move by the company's owner, Yaskawa Industries. By building a highly articulate robot, they've allowed a single design to fit many different situations. Instead of building a new bot for each task in your factory or office, why not just reprogram the SDA-10? That keeps the cost down and the robots flying off the shelves. Just looking at the SDA-10 assemble a chair, we can imagine it working well alongside Kiva's warehouse robots. Let one bot fetch the parts, the other assemble the chair. It would be a pretty efficient system. Or take the partnership in reverse. Right now, Kiva robots move stacks of goods to humans who then sort them. The SDA-10, however, is great at sorting and moving. A version of the bot, humorously called the Dextrina, we'll let you decide if it looks female, is shown in a video unpacking mail. Flawless execution, and there's little chance of it ever going postal. Abo. Sony has launched a new Abo robot dog in limited edition Black Sesame, following its last release in 2017. The latest Abo robot dog comes in a gray coat with 4 different eye colors: blue, green, orange, and pink. Not only does its appearance resemble the previous model, but it also features the same functions of facial recognition and everyday interactions through which it can develop its unique personality. What's more, users can name their robot companion, witness their growth, and add new tricks through artificial intelligence powered by the Abo AI Cloud plan. They can also stay connected with their robot pet with the My Abo app wherever they go. In addition, gadgets, from playtime accessories such as a bone-shaped toy, a dice, and a pink ball, to necessities like food and water bowls and virtual pet food, can be bought together for an immersive experience. Priced at $2,900, Sony's limited edition Abo robot dog in Black Sesame is available on the Sony online store. Retired Asimo. Honda's Asimo humanoid robot has retired. For the last 20 years, Asimo had been performing at the Honda showroom in Tokyo, Japan, but these regular demonstrations are now at an end. We've known for a while that this was coming. Honda announced back in 2018 that it was halting Asimo development in favor of working on robots with more practical applications, like robots for elder care and disaster relief. But what blows us away about Asimo, even now, is just how impressive it still is. The most recent version of Asimo was announced in 2011. As we watch its performance now, we have to keep reminding ourselves that this was all happening more than 10 years ago. That's decade-old sensing, actuation, compute, batteries. Even still, what Asimo is demonstrating are things that are absolutely not easy for humanoid robots even now. And the robots still look so futuristic, right? The design is wonderful, all the movements are buttery smooth, and Asimo would not be out of place in any science fiction movie. This little robot really did set a, still somewhat aspirational standard, especially relative to other humanoid robots, which have only within the last few years been able to match and then significantly surpass Asimo's performance, if not its looks. The current generation of Asimo is part of a lineage of humanoid robotics research at Honda stretching back to the mid-1980s. HRP-4C. The HRP-4C, nicknamed Meme, is a feminine-looking humanoid robot created by the National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology, a Japanese research facility. Meme measures 158 centimeters, or 5 feet 2 inches tall, and weighs 95 pounds, including a battery pack. She has a realistic head and face, and the figure of an average young Japanese female based on the 1997 to 1998 Japanese Body Dimension database. She can move like a human, utilizing 30 body motors and another 8 dedicated to facial expressions. Meme can also respond to speech using speech recognition software, and is capable of recognizing ambient sounds. Meme can also sing using the vocal synthesizer Vocaloid. The software that operates the robot is developed on the basis of Open Robotics Platform.
An initial public demonstration was held on March 16, 2009, with another held at Tokyo's Digital Content Expo in 2010 to showcase recent upgrades that allow HRP4C to mimic human facial and head movements, as well as execute dance steps. 2011 upgrades to Meme's human-like walking ability were shown in a video released by AIST and have been called super realistic. Interesting, isn't she now? Hanako. 3 Japanese universities, Waseda, Kogakuin, and Showa, and robot maker Tumsuk have developed Hanako, a robotic dental patient who can behave like a human patient to some extent. The robot, who is supposed to be female, can converse with doctors. Please examine me, that hurts, etc. Discharge robotic saliva, sneeze, open and close her mouth, etc. Standing 157 centimeters tall, Hanako's body is the work of Tumsuk, while the medical features were developed by the dental faculties of the universities involved in the development of the robot. There are 9 joints in her body, for example in her jaw, tongue, and even in her eyelids. The main goal is to offer dentists or dental students a way to practice real-life procedures on a robot before taking care of human patients. At Showa University, dental students actually have to take tests using Hanako. This actually makes a lot of sense, we would say. Hanako reacts to mistakes by verbally expressing pain, rolling her eyes, or even simulating a vomiting reflex thanks to the touch sensors in her mouth. The Showa Hanako 2 actually goes much farther lengths to create a realistic experience for the training practitioner. The robot's mouth is designed to be as realistic as possible, down to the way that it feels. The creators of this dental bot got help from an unusual source in order to create that realism. Orient Industry, a company that is recognized as one of Japan's top makers of lifelike dolls, was consulted to help the research team make up realistic skin, tongue, and mouth areas. The system is also equipped with a basic program for voice recognition. This allows the training dentist to carry out some basic conversation with the robot during the exam or procedure. Like any good patient, Hanako can give the dentist feedback about his or her performance. Unlike most patients, however, she can store and analyze the student's performance, giving them a detailed amount of experience on the computer. RepliAQ2. RepliAQ2 is a model of Actoid, androids or gynoids built by Kokoro Company Limited and developed by Osaka University, created in June of 2005. The RepliAQ2 is capable of using mimicry to learn movements, and can respond to physical and verbal stimulation. RepliAQ2 is capable of voice recognition, and possesses the ability to process speech and respond in kind. RepliAQ2 is an upgraded version of RepliAQ1. The face of RepliAQ2 has become more human-like. Furthermore, it has 13 DOFs in the head so that it can make some facial expressions and mouth shapes. RepliAQ2, shown with the same name of RepliAQ1 Expo at the World Expo held in Aichi, Japan in June 2005. In the demonstrations, RepliAQ1 Expo interacted with people by impersonating a TV interviewer. RepliAQ1 Expo had omnidirectional cameras and microphones surrounding her and tactile sensors embedded under a carpet, and could recognize a person's gestures, voice, and standing position. Just how real does she look? Saya. Japan's robot teacher calls roll, smiles, and scolds, drawing laughter from students with her eerily lifelike face. But the developer says it's not about to replace human instructors. The robot teacher, called Saya, can express 6 basic emotions: surprise, fear, disgust, anger, happiness, sadness, as its rubber skin is pulled from the back with motors and wiring around the eyes and the mouth. It's remote controlled by a human watching via cameras. Robots that look human tend to be a big hit with young children and the elderly, Hiroshi Kobayashi, Tokyo University of Science professor and Saya's developer, said Wednesday. Children even start crying when they are scolded. First developed as a receptionist robot in 2004, Saya was tested in a Tokyo classroom earlier this year with a handful of 5th and 6th graders, although it still can't do much more than call out names and shout orders such as "be quiet." Japan and other nations hope robotics will help solve their growing labor shortages as populations age, but scientists express concern about using a machine to take care of children and the elderly. Noel Sharkey, robotics expert and professor at the University of Sheffield, believes robots can serve as an educational aid in inspiring interest in science, but they can't replace humans. It would be delusional to think that such robots could replace a human teacher, he said. Let us know how you feel about this in the comments below. Project Aiko. Aiko is a humanoid robot with a built-in biometric artificial intelligence neural system designed by Lee Trung in Canada. Aiko is slightly less than 5 feet high with 32.24-inch bust and a 22.44-inch waist. Aiko, which means love child, is the perfect companion. In fact, lovely Aiko speaks Japanese and English and can respond to annoyances and questions. She has the ability to identify objects placed before her. She is equipped with a sensor which allows her to signal pain or annoyance. If you squeeze her cheeks or other parts of her anatomy, she will tell you, "That hurts," or "Stop touching me." Aiko has the ability to talk and interact with humans with 13,000 sentences at her disposal. She can be programmed to recognize intruders and immediately switch to a defense mode. If it is raining outdoors, she will bring you an umbrella. Aiko is a dream girl, but her inventor Lee Trung envisions a day when Aiko clones can be used as security in airports and other public places, assistance for housebound disabled people, the elderly, and as office assistants. Aside from Aiko's lovely appearance, Lee Trung's biggest claim to fame is the technology. He combined his innovative brain technology by programming in C# and BASIC, which constantly updates. The brain software controls speech, reading, math, vision, colors, hearing, automation, and sensors. She is a work in progress with the best yet to come. Additionally, the software can control robot kits like Kondo KHR2 through voice activation, automation, and basic recognition. Uniquely, the brain software is designed to interact with Aiko's environment, process the data, and record it in the internal memory. When the internal memory reaches full capacity, the synthesized data can be transferred into the server database. The result is an evolving database that can be shared and used by future Aiko clones. Lee Trung has maxed out his personal funding and credit lines to create Aiko. Project Aiko has made the rounds with the press and public trade shows. The latest interview with a CNN reporter demonstrated the lighter side of Aiko. Aiko demonstrated her sight recognition features by recognizing the difference between a Coca-Cola product and water and distinguishing food. While the public events thus far have been geared to attract public attention, the genius behind the brain technology and its future is astounding.
Ariza. Ariza was named after the first letters of the words from Aru's Robotics Interactive Solutions Android. Ariza first made her debut in 2017, but it was in 2018 that she started her first trial run at 2 subway stations in Tokyo. It is the brainchild of the Tokyo Metropolitan Government and a creation of Aru's Gaming and THK. Ariza is a 6-foot-tall humanoid that comes with a touchscreen monitor and that will offer tourists directions and information, pose for selfies, or even dance for them. She can speak English, Japanese, Chinese, and Korean, and her fashion is on fleek. The goal behind Ariza was to anticipate and cater for an increasing number of tourists that arrived in the capital with the Summer Games. Japan was dealing with a serious shortage of workforce, so authorities were either looking to hire workers from other countries or turn to technology for help. Ariza fell under the latter category, obviously, and response to her in the first trial has been very positive. Takayuki Saito of the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Bureau of General Affairs then hoped that the future of urban operations will be AI-based. Saya was engineered by Japanese husband and wife team Teruyuki and Yuka Ishikawa. Saya was gently brought to life in their spare time as they attempted to balance commercial work and personal projects. According to the artists, the hardest part was achieving the moist, soft, and translucent skin of girls this age. The hair, they add, is not up to their expectations. When the couple first posted pictures of the hyper-realistic schoolgirl online, it was a revelation about what can be achieved with computer design. Her slightly askew school tie, heavily fringed hair, freckled skin, and teenage pout left thousands trying to work out whether or not she was a real person. Since then, the couple spent a year perfecting their creation, resculpting and molding her face, and then released a new and improved version of the schoolgirl. Saya had come a long way since her birth. In order to make her more human, they reworked her from head to toe. The reaction to the new level of detail seen in Saya has been almost universal astonishment. Saya was inspired by many girls that Mrs. Ishikawa saw around the area of Shibuya in Tokyo, a popular hangout spot for teenage girls. Her facial expressions, movements, and personality reflect those of a 17-year-old. though she has no specific age. As well as drawing her features with incredible precision, the couple also bestowed upon her all the qualities considered positive in Japanese women. She is humble and kind, a good student with a strong set of morals and ethics. They also focused on the Japanese idea of kawaii, or being cute. She is the modern representation of kawaii. When the couple first started creating Saya, she was a side project destined to be a character in a short movie, but they were overwhelmed by the positive response when they first presented her to the public and saw her potential. The couple then decided to give up their day jobs and focus entirely on developing Saya. They hope that one day, Saya will be able to interact with humans, perhaps even being able to provide emotional support to those in need. According to the creator, the price for this special robot would be a whopping 5 million yen or $49,800. Erica enjoys the theater and animated films, would like to visit Southeast Asia, and believes her ideal partner is a man with whom she can chat easily. She is less forthcoming, however, when asked her age. "That's a slightly rude question I'd rather not say," comes the answer. As her embarrassed questioner shifts sideways and struggles to put the conversation on a friendlier footing, Erica turns her head, her eyes following his every move. It is all rather disconcerting, but if Japan's new generation of intelligent robots are ever going to rival humans as conversation partners, perhaps that is as it should be. Erica, who it turns out is 23, is the most advanced humanoid to have come out of a collaborative effort between Osaka and Kyoto universities and the Advanced Telecommunications Research Institute International. At its heart is the group's leader, Hiroshi Ishiguro, a professor at Osaka University's Intelligent Robotics Laboratory. Erica looks and sounds very realistic. Though she is unable to walk independently, she possesses improved speech and an ability to understand and respond to questions, her every utterance accompanied by uncannily human-like changes in her facial expression. Erica, Ishiguro insists, is the most beautiful and intelligent android in the world. The principle of beauty is captured in the average face, so he used images of 30 beautiful women, mixed up their features, and used the average for each to design the nose, eyes, and so on. That means she should appeal to everyone. Although the day when every household has its own Erica may seem way off, the Japanese have demonstrated a formidable acceptance of robots in their everyday lives over the past years. She will possibly be available for around $900 to $1,000 for the public one day. Asuna. Designed by Hiroshi Ishiguro in collaboration with the team at Tokyo-based A-Lab, Asuna is an android first unveiled at the 2015 Wonder Festival Winter in Chiba, Japan. Up close, she looks like an adorable 15-year-old girl, about 155 centimeters in height and weighing approximately 43 kilograms. In fact, this hyper-real robot is so incredibly human-like that even the reporter covering the convention got confused, mistaking it for one of the idols from the AKB48 band. Sure, you've probably seen pictures of human-like robots before, but the true charm behind this android lies in her movements. One would be blown away by the sheer naturalness of Asuna's mannerisms. From the way she blinks and squeezes her eyes shut, to the shape her mouth makes as if she were about to yawn, Asuna is truly on a different level from other androids. Some may feel like the secret behind Asuna's lifelike appearance has something to do with her skin. It's soft and squishy instead of hard, and apart from having no warmth, it actually feels similar to a real girl's ear. The folks at Tokyo-based A-Lab have been involved with many projects, of which Asuna is just one. They are in fact the same company that developed the Matsukoroid, another android that could be a carbon copy of Matsuko Deluxe, the plus-size Japanese TV personality known for his cross-dressing stage persona and deep voice, Komodoroid and Otonoroid. In what can be considered as a real demonstration of robotic news reading, Japanese scientists unveiled two new humanoids with newscasting capabilities. Komodoroid and Otonoroid were created under the leadership of Professor Hiroshi Ishiguro, director of the Intelligent Robotics Laboratory at the Osaka University Graduate School of Engineering Science. The latter appears to be female from the name to the looks, but the former has a rather gender-neutral name, although it is dressed as a female. Kodomoroid is the younger-looking of the two androids. The name is a portmanteau of Kodomo and android. Kodomo is a Japanese term for child. Kodomoroid appears to be an adolescent female with a youthful voice. During the demonstration, it delivered a news regarding an earthquake. It also read news about a raid conducted by the FBI. Seiya, $49,800. The dream of robots taking over most of our tasks is no longer a vision. Japan has developed a robot teacher named Seiya, who calls roll, smiles, and scolds the children in her classroom. Developed by Hiroshi Kobayashi, a Tokyo University of Science professor, Seiya is definitely an interesting robot. Because it has a rubber skin that gets pulled back from the back with motors and wiring around the eyes and the mouth, the robot can express 6 different human emotions: surprise, fear, disgust, anger, happiness, and sadness. First developed as a receptionist robot in 2004, Seiya was tested in a real Tokyo classroom with a handful of 5th and 6th graders. However, the robot can't do anything other than take a roll call, so there is still no hope of her replacing human instructors. The robot also has no intelligence or the ability to develop any human skills. Professor Hiroshi Kobayashi of Tokyo University of Science, who built Seiya, says she's not meant to replace human teachers, just to highlight the joys of technology. Specifically, he said, "We are not looking at making something that will take over from teachers, but rather our main reason for building this robot is to use new technology to teach children about technology."
進んでて、その子どもたちに理科の楽しさとかを知ってもらおうということで、授業とかを行って。
Many of the children were mesmerized by Seiya and did not take their eyes off her throughout the lecture. When class was over, some students poked her face and pinched her. The price for this special robot would be a whopping 5 million yen or $49,800. Japan is home to almost half of the world's 800,000 industrial robots and expects the industry to expand to $10 billion in the future, including models that can care for its fast-growing elderly population. So we're sure to find some other cool humanoids appear in the country soon enough. $110,000. The Japanese Actroid humanoid robot is an awe-inspiring marvel of engineering and design, a robotic creation that seamlessly blends technology with humanity. She was developed by Osaka University and manufactured by Kokoro Company Limited. Actroid was first unveiled at the 2003 International Robot Exhibition in Tokyo, Japan. Actroid is incredibly realistic. She makes eye contact and gestures in the direction of a person trying to speak to her, allowing her to adeptly handle crowds of people. To develop the new behavior, researchers from the Nara Institute of Science and Technology studied how individuals and groups interacted with the robot. Based on their observations, they focused on 2 new features, which they call incorruptibility and motion parameterization, hoping to improve human-robot interaction. The first feature lets Actroid sit handle interruptions in a graceful way. In their human-robot interaction experiments, the researchers noted that interruptions occurred about 26% of the time. For example, the human switched topics or handed off the speaking role to someone else. With the new interruptibility feature, the robot can immediately end its current topic and elegantly transition to the new response. The researchers also tested Actroid Sit with a motion parameterization system. This means that her 18 gestures, like pointing or waving, adapt to the location of the speaker, making the person feel like the robot is really paying attention to him or her.
生物ですから、人間がそのいわゆるアンドロイドなりそういう新しいロボットというものにを
Actroid F has minimal servomotors to save on cost, and it can't walk. But Actroid F can move its eyes, mouth, head, and back, and it can also act as a telepresence robot. Cameras and face tracking software follow a remote operator, so facial expressions and head movements are reproduced in the robot. The parent company reportedly announced plans to sell 50 units to museums and hospitals for some $110,000 apiece, aiming for them to serve in roles such as receptionist, patient attendant, or guide. The company has said patients have reacted favorably in a hospital trial. Humanoid F, $110,000. When Japanese roboticist Hiroshi Ishiguro unveiled his latest creation, a female android called Humanoid F, people went wild. The new robot, a copy of a woman in her 20s with long dark hair, can smile, frown, and change facial expressions more naturally than Ishiguro's previous androids. Ishiguro, a professor at Osaka University, is famous for creating a robot replica of himself, the Humanoid Hi-1, a telepresence android that he controls remotely. The Humanoid F, F stands for female, is also designed to be remote controlled by a human operator. Ishiguro built the android as part of his work at Osaka University and ATR Intelligent Robotics and Communication Laboratories, with collaboration from Kokoro Company, a Japanese firm that specializes in animatronics and ultra-realistic androids. In designing Humanoid F, Ishiguro's team and Kokoro engineers wanted to create an android that could exhibit a wide range of natural expressions without requiring as many actuators as other androids they'd developed. In particular, they wanted the robot to sport a convincing smile. Not just any smile, but, as Kokoro put it, a toothy smile. And it can also make a frown. Ishiguro demonstrated how the android could mimic the facial expressions of the woman as she sat in front of a computer with cameras and face-tracking software. The parent company Kokoro has also gone to great lengths to make sure this female humanoid is available at a more reasonable price. For instance, whereas the Geminoid High 1 has some 50 actuators, the new Geminoid F has just 12. What's more, the High 1 robot requires a large external box filled with compressors and valves. With Geminoid F, the researchers embedded air servo valves and an air servo control system into its body, so the android requires only a small external compressor. The new design helped reduce the android's cost. Said Kokoro, they will sell copies of Geminoid F for about 10 million yen or $110,000. HRP-4C, $200,000. Next up, we have HRP-4C, an absolute marvel of engineering and design, a cutting-edge creation that is pushing the boundaries of what is possible in robotics. With her sleek and sophisticated appearance, the HRP-4C is sure to turn heads wherever she goes. But she is not just a pretty face. This robot is packed with advanced technology and capabilities that make it a true game-changer in the world of robotics. One of the most impressive features of the HRP-4C is her human-like dexterity and coordination. Equipped with advanced sensors and motors, she can perform a wide range of tasks that require precise and delicate movements, from playing instruments to pouring drinks.
たくさんの人のブレスの音で学習をしておいて、それがどこに出るかってことを検出して、しかもそれを再現する。
But what really sets the HRP-4C apart is her ability to interact with people naturally and engagingly. With her advanced AI algorithms, she can recognize and respond to human gestures and expressions, and even hold conversations with people in a way that feels natural and intuitive. And let's not forget about her movement skills. The HRP-4C can be used in fashion shows to model clothing and accessories, showcasing her ability to move and pose in a way that mimics human models and even dance. But with HRP-4C is more than just a showpiece or a curiosity. She has real-world applications as well. She has been used in research and development of new technologies and has the potential to revolutionize a wide range of industries, from manufacturing to healthcare, and she is available for purchase for a hefty price tag of $200,000. That's all for today, folks. See you next time.